is fair if I got into trouble. Not as a policeman, not as a prosecutor, not as a judge, but if I got into trouble, would the system seem fair? Okay. Now, you can have all sorts of different fair systems, but as long as it matched up to that system, was it fair, then you can develop a system allowing for how much or how little resources is available. But certainly things of that nature, I could help to put together a program, and I could certainly, in terms of appeals for people, Somalis, to go back and help. Obviously that must be for yourself. And in terms of trying to get funding to help you get on your feet, all I know is that there must be funding available, but I don't know how you unlock those. Well, if he is this a gentleman?
It's a gentleman.
Right. I mean, if he wants to come over here and spend time with us, we will show him our system. Not that he can repeat it in Somalia, not interfere at all, but if he can say, what would you do in this situation, what would you do in this situation, what would you do if you didn't have a court to start with, how would you do it? I mean, you don't want to replicate what the British had in India, but they used to travel around in the districts. They used to put a tent up. I've seen photographs of it, and they would hold the court there. Okay, so to start with, I mean, we've got buildings that cost millions of pounds. Okay, we've got one there that was built in the 1890s, which is not very good anymore, but hundreds of years of background of money of investment. Okay, so you might have to start with a very limited budget, but how do you get out into the districts? How do you make sure law and order applies there? What rules do you want? What's the influence of the religion on the law? You need the basic laws set out, obviously, and a structure that people understand the laws. Most of it's through religious belief and decency and honesty anyway. Most people know whether they're doing right or wrong, but obviously you've got to have a legal system. Okay, so if, for example, that person would like to come over and spend time here, or with one or two assistants, whatever, you wouldn't need, in any new system, you wouldn't need to have everybody a lawyer. As long as there was training given to people so that they understood the law, and they would give the prosecution and the defence a fair hearing in a court, and then decide on the evidence and so on. You can set a system up. The only test, as I say, is will it look fair to the people? Will the people understand that you're trying to be fair? That any society's got to have law and order. They've got to understand that, obviously. But there'll be so much of the local culture back into the community where they're living, and so they're paying back. They're paying back. It's an oversimplification to say it, but just sending people to prison is a waste of money. To give you one illustration, you may or may not have seen the hotel. The Hyatt Hotel in Birmingham, big glass building, that is the most expensive hotel in Birmingham to stay in. It costs more to put somebody in prison than it would be to put them up at the Hyatt Hotel on full board. All that money spent, and inevitably people come out of prison and within a couple of years they've committed more offending. You have to you're just paying after that to keep people locked up. It costs money, however crude the circumstances, it's costing money, and you've written them off effectively. They're no use to you in the future. So, again, a system that hasn't got lots of money. We have more people in this country in prison per 1,000 of the population than any part of Europe. It's a mess. It's one of the we're sending far too many people to prison. But
that's what the news sort of across.
Yes, they're full. They're full. We've got nearly 80,000 people in prisons in this country, and it's all of it. They'll be looking after the kids. So prison is a last resort. Okay. And again, where in a community where you've not got lots of money to spend on things like this, you want to minimise the cost that you're spending on the criminal justice system. So these sort of conversations, I'll be more than happy to have. I'll certainly inquire to see if we could sort of go over and have a look. Not to interfere, but just to have a look.
It's beginning new way.
Yes,
It's a beginning.
a relatively narrow area of experience, the criminal courts, the criminal law, and I wish you success while you're over here. Obviously,
You've got others.
you know, I realise you've got tremendous challenges, but you know, like they say in England, great things from little acorns grow. Exactly, you've got to start.
First is beginning
Got to start small.
Let's begin with
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
that's
happy.
good. Okay.
Thank you. I say
Thank you, sir.
Nice to see you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Good.